Awesome. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Eyes on Avs podcast, part of the EPS family of podcasts, by the fans, for the fans, diehards only. I'm Cam, back again with my awesome co-hosts, Dave and Eric. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's going on?
Feeling good.
We got another great show, and we got 2 wins to talk about, so that helps.
Yes, that makes everything better to talk about wins.
Yes, we got some positive vibes. But before we get into the games like we did last week, we're going to start off with a little trivia before we break down the game action. And Dave has a little bit of trivia that we know nothing about. So feel free to, if you're watching live on YouTube or X, comment too, and Eric and I will do our best to try to figure out what it is.
I need the answers. I'm so nervous.
That's a great point, Cam. Anybody out there in TV land, feel free to comment and guess along, or maybe you don't have to guess. Maybe you just know the answer. But I'm going to hop into it. This is a apropos question based on where we're at in this round 1 series. The Avalanche, since moving from Quebec to Denver, have made it 2-0. Went up 2-0 in the series, and many times. And the first part of the question, this is a 2-part question. How many times since coming to Denver, becoming the Avalanche, have they gone up 2-0 in a series?
Okay. So we're answering the first part first.
And by the way, we're gonna do the first part first because then I'm gonna go to the next part.
Okay.
Because it's gonna sort of follow on what we do here. So you guys will answer, and then I'll let you know the actual answer. You guys may know it.
Okay.
So we got 1 this year. That's 1 2 series. We're at 1.
And guess what? We don't know the result. So how many of those series? Well, that's the second part. I'm sorry. How many times has it happened prior to this series? Let's go with that.
Okay, first off, I'm going to say this is a guess because I have no freaking clue.
Let's talk through this, Cam.
And closest gets a point.
Okay.
Either of you get 2 points. If you both get close, if one person gets closest, then you win an award to be determined later.
Oh, man. So we got 30 odd years basically of times that they've been there. They've missed the playoffs a few times, but how many times have they gone up 2-0 in a series?
I'm gonna just go nuts here. I'm gonna just fire off right away. I'm gonna say 6.
Okay.
All right. That's an answer.
That's a good answer. Yep. Yeah, because they've won a lot of series, but were they up 2-0 in those series? That's tricky.
I'm going.
Well, they won the cup 3 times, so that's 12 series right there.
Yeah,
and they've been dominant around each of those times they've won. So I'm going twice in the vicinity of each championship. They've had like a 2-0 lead. Because I remember
good breakdown.
The year they won the cup, they swept Nashville. I don't think they
swept Edmonton. So that's 2.
So
that's, we're at 3. We're at 3 right now, including this year.
Okay. I like 6, but I'm scared.
But they've also lost in the first round a lot recently, which they probably weren't up 2-0. So that takes out a lot of years.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I was thinking Winnipeg when they dominated them in 5, but they lost the first game, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
It was the whole thing.
They did. Yeah. They got kind of shellacked in the first game.
It was a little barn burner.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to see if I should do the Price is Right thing. Do I go higher or lower than Eric right now?
Avs are so dominant. Go higher.
Domination. They've been here how many years? What are we on?
95, 96 was the first year. So I think it's last year was 30 years, I believe. Was the 30th anniversary, I think, right?
For the 30 this year.
Yeah, okay, so the 3 Roman numeral X's for
so we're at 3. But I know for a fact that when they won their first cup when they played Florida, they swept Florida in the final. So that's 4 times right there. And then you got all those other years. You got to think it's more.
Yeah, it's got to be more.
I'm gonna split the thing. I'm gonna go 8 times. Not so far up, but a little bit more. I'm going to go with 8.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Kid. I like it. All right.
All right. I'm gonna not to belabor the point. Here's the big reveal. Now I don't have the list of all the series particulars, but I get that list later. So we can at least know, and if we have extra time, we can review it. 17 19 times. This is the 20th time.
No way.
We're nasty.
No way.
This is the 20th time
that they've been up
Holy-
2-0.
Yes.
That's crazy.
This
In 30
this
years.
is according to NHL stats, so it's a real number.
Okay.
Holy cow.
All right,
Yeah.
but I like where your part 2 is going because I'm instantly thinking
Yeah,
of
what's
that
the
Vegas
record?
series.
So
Yes.
it's just
What's
off
the
of
record?
it's just up on those series that they went up 2-0. How many of those series
Yeah.
did they win out
Yeah,
of the
so
20?
this is the
So 19, I
20th
should say.
time in the previous 19. What is their record in series that they went up 2-0?
Ooh,
Okay. So
that's good.
because the first one I thought of was Vegas when they had the President's Trophy last time, that they were up 2-0 and then lost to them in 6. That was the
Right.
one where Nate had
That
his
was-
explosion.
That's the one where Nate afterwards
was-
said, I've been here how many years and I haven't won shit.
Yeah.
He was not a happy
So
camper.
now that we know this is the 20th time, which is nuts. I think the number of times they've lost after being up 2-0 is small. I don't
Okay.
think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be something like 4 times maybe. Like I don't think it's gonna be some crazy, because I think when they get up 2-0, it's rare, like that Vegas series, whatever. But I think when they get up 2-0, they finish it. So it's gonna be small. But how small?
I'm gonna go, just because apparently 6 is my favorite number right now. I'm gonna go 14-6.
Okay. Well, it's 19 times before this year. We don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
We'll go 13-6.
Okay.
13-6.
Okay.
It's gonna be 14-6.
Okay.
I'm just-
I'm gonna go 15-4.
You guys are closer on this one. The record is 17-2.
Yes,
Oh my
come on.
gosh.
I love
Wow.
being wrong on
They're
this.
good.
Yeah.
The Avs are good.
Yeah. So, we won't review all the details. I can send it to you guys later, and I'll put it on the webpage too for those following us on online, on X or Threads or Instagram. I'll put it there, a link to the details. But yeah, that's it.
Great
Oh,
trivia
I'm
question.
feeling good about this one.
Okay,
I've
that's
never
good.
been so happy to be wrong.
Yeah.
This is the best way to be wrong.
Yes.
so
No,
happy
that
about
was great trivia, and transitioning from that trivia, we're up 2-0 in the series right now. We have 2 games to break down. We'll try to. I guess the game 2 is probably obviously more recent in our head, so probably spend more time on that. But we're up 2-0, guys. Game 1, we'll go back to that. Start off. Let's go with Dave, since you're right in the middle. Game 1. What do you remember? What are you thinking? What'd you like? What'd you not like?
There was a ton of hitting. I think it was combined 80 some hits. And a few more for the Kings than us, but still way, way higher than normal. We got sucked into their game, I thought, of going after them, finishing hits, looking for hits. I'd like to see personally a little bit more, looking for passes and goals. But the team commented numerous times after the game, and you could see on the bench they were having a good time, and they won the game, and so it seems like they're kind of into it. They have the talent to play with anybody in any style, in my mind. I think the fans, me being a fan, I like the smooth flow and the skating around and zipping and scoring 6 goals better. It's better for my stress and blood pressure. But, we got the job done. Wedgwood was insane. Forsberg was great as well. The goaltending was incredible. And then, game 2, a lot of more of the same, right? So, you know, it's great that we can hit. It's great that we can play with him in that style, and it's kind of fun to watch a little bit of a different thing than we normally see from the Avs. We rarely see that style of play. So in some ways it can be entertaining, but 2-1, talk about nail biters. That's kind of my overall. I mean, we'll dig into some of the particulars, but from an overall perspective, that's where I'm at. You know what? 2-1, 2-1 and 2-1 for a 2-0 lead in the series. I'm all smiles. That's right.
Nice. Nice. Eric, what do you think about that?
My first thought when I was watching game 1 and how like slow it was going and how it was just being dragged out, I was like, oh, this makes sense why they don't have a ton of regulation wins, that they have so many overtime wins.
22.
Yes, they just like drag it on as long as they can, and they're like, okay, while we're dragging this game on, we're just gonna hit you and repeatedly hit you until you quit. Like, to Dave's point, there was 84 hits in game 1, and then they were like, okay, let's like play hockey. We'll lower it down to like 52 hits in game 2. You know, take it easy on you guys and have, you know, just more of a casual time and playing. But just looking at it, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. Because the Kings, to be completely honest, I don't really like follow them too much. They're usually with the like Pacific, I'm thinking, you know, Vegas, I'm thinking Edmonton. And I would always like skim over the Edmonton Kings series and things like that. And watching them and hearing it, I was like, oh, we're like playing right into how they want to play. And they are not really offensive. I mean, they got Panarin, and good thing they did, because he's the only one scoring goals for him in this series. Like, I feel like somehow they'd have a negative goal. Like, they'd have an own goal if they didn't have him. But that's what they're going to do. Like, dig into that defensive structure, hit you, and hope that you make a mistake and we benefit from it. Literally what happened almost in game 2 with the penalty shot. So just watching it, it's just like, oh, they want to drag it out. They want to hit you. They want to frustrate you. They want to slow this down. They want to get you out of your flow, because their flow is the slow, clunky, get in the way, make it a mess, and we're going to get a goal out of it somehow.
Their flow is anti-flow.
Yeah, their flow is anti-flow. So that was like the big thing I was feeling. Just like, oh, I get why you go into overtime all the time, and you like to hit people. Cool. Yep. All right.
That's a good analogy right there. You like to go to extra periods and you hit people. Got it.
Yes, that's all you're about. Yeah.
I love it. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they said last night when I went to OT that in the regular season the Kings went to overtime 33 times, if I'm correct. I believe in the regular 33 times.
That's just astounding.
With
that, until you watch them, and to Eric's point, they just beat people, and that leads to a lot of tie games, obviously.
Yeah, but like we talked about before we got on here with Doughty's interview and Kopitar, the Kings are playing exactly what they want to play. They're realists. They know what they are as a team. Good for them. They're executing their game plan. They're not super fast. They're skilled. They're obviously in the NHL, but they're not the Avs. And they got us grind it out. And they've grinded out for 2 games. And luckily for us, we have 2 wins, which we're not going to complain about being up 2-0. It's just we'd like to see more Avs hockey. But hopefully when we get to talk about game 3 later, we'll see some of that. But the Kings, like you guys are saying, they just muck it up and hit, which is to be expected in the playoffs. But the speed difference of just slowing it down, clogging up the middle, holding in the corners, just no room, just slow. It's horrible. It's horrible.
It is horrible. The one additional thing I'd say is I think the Kings have played the best they can play. If they could draw up their perfect game or perfect 2 games, they would say those are 2 perfect games for us. Obviously, the final score wasn't what they wanted, but and they still couldn't beat us at the very playing their very best. And I don't know that they can keep up playing that well to their game plan for 2 more games or for 4 games, certainly for them to win this series. I don't see that. I still have a gentleman's sweep of 4-1, and I don't know if I think they'll win game 3 or 4. But it also could be a sweep, I feel like. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say this too. Forsberg has played great, obviously. And the Kings are lucky that he has played great, because if their goalie wasn't up to that level the first 2 games, it could be 7-1 game, 8-1 game both times in the Avs, because the Avs have gotten opportunities, but Forsberg has played great. So he's a good goalie, but the Kings should be thanking him a lot, because it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, he's been stellar. I think he and Wedgwood have both been completely amazing. I mean, they've made some amazing stops that I wouldn't have guessed they would have made. Or at least as many of them. I think they would have let in a few more pucks. Probably Forsberg more than Wedgwood, because Wedgwood's just in the zone.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too, because I haven't looked into it. Once again, my lack of Kings knowledge is coming out. But I was really shocked. I remember game 1 being like, where's Darcy Kemper? And I know Forsberg's pretty decent. He's not amazing, but seeing him in net, I was like, oh, this might be a benefit for us. But the famous Avs curse of when an opponent sees the Avs coming, their goalie's like, all right, I have to play my best game.
I'm Patrick Waugh now.
Yeah, right? I have to do my very best and carry this team and do whatever I can possible. So that was very annoying to me.
I think their situation with the goalies has kind of mirrored the Avs a little bit, because I believe Kemper played 50 or 55 games, and I would have thought the same thing. He's the starter, but I think Forsberg the last month-ish has got hot, and I think they rode his hot hand the same way with Wedgwood, of everyone assumed Blackwood's the starter per se, but Wedgwood's played better, and I think they're like, hey, we're going to put Forsberg in, and obviously it's a good choice for them, because he's played great. So
yeah, he has. Getting back to game 1 briefly, what do you guys think about the goalie interference call on us on O'Connor's goal, and they called interference on Drury? He gets pushed in to Forsberg by Doughty. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I think it's crap, but I mean,
go ahead, Eric. I got some paper down below the camera. I'm ripping to shreds right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll say the nicer things and let you guys really rip on it. I mean, it just goes to show why Drew Doughty's been playing in the league so long. Just the cerebral part of his game, the same thing where we benefit from Brett Burns having hey, he may have lost a step, but he just does a couple things that he's like, hey kid, let me show you how it's done. Yeah. And he does something that it doesn't take as much effort. He works smarter, not harder. And I think in the most irritating way, Drew Doughty did the same thing. I think goalie interference makes no sense. The more
you mean in general or on that call?
In general, I feel like there's always the fun game. If there is a goalie interference thing, the game within the game is, all right, let's see how this ref's feeling about goalie interference and what they're seeing. Because every time I feel like, the guy in Toronto, he's like, I think it's going to be goalie interference. And they're like, not goalie interference. And he's like, I can see how they got to that. And you're like, no one knows.
No one knows. No one knows anymore.
I feel like Drew Doughty pushed him into the goalie, but because the thing they were harping on, he's looking the other way, so he doesn't know. And and I'm like,
he knows. He knows.
but they were like, and then after they were like, it is goalie interference. They were like, look at him being so smart and looking the other way like he doesn't know. And I'm like, guys, we need a little more like that the fans can follow the decision of how they got there. And that's what's the hardest part is like, I think I've seen multiple goalie interference things, and I'm like, okay, this is how I would get there. So I would make this call. And they're like, no, it's the opposite thing. And I'm like, how did you get to that decision? And they're just like, by looking at it too. Like, there's no like confidence. No one has confidence. No one has confidence in saying what is goalie interference and what isn't. And I think that one just proves it even more. Like, you could see like how much Drury is trying to like move around and wiggle away, and they're like, that's goalie interference. And I'm like, okay. But like we talked about, I think maybe last week, like the same with the Nate one. I was like,
that was amazingly horrible.
Yeah, like you can see Nate trying to be like, I'm not gonna hit this guy.
Nate
and Darnell Nurse is like, yes,
Nate
you are.
never touched him.
So
in that game weeks ago.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't get goalie interference.
I don't
I'd like to one day. One day I would like to understand it. All right, Cam.
Cam, what's your take?
Let it rip, my dude.
I'm gonna get some food. We're gonna be here for hours now. They better address it in the offseason. When the season's over, they have to address the goalie interference rule to get it more uniform because it's a joke.
Yeah.
Not just for us, but for every team. I kind of relate it to flopping in the NBA of goalies, not in this case, but goalies especially. All they need to do when the shot's coming is make sure they're on the edge of their crease or outside the crease, touch an opposing player, because if they do, if it goes past them, all they have to do is go like, oh, he touched me. And it's the same as the NBA. Flop around and you're going to get the foul. That's the same thing. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if the dude's 2 feet out of the crease and holding white ice and the goalie comes out, puts his blocker up, and he touches him and he's like, oh, I couldn't move. Oh, take the goal back. And I will say, I guess we're biased, but whether someone interferes with our goalie or we get pushed into their goalie, they always either give them or take it. We lose the call every time. If Drury gets pushed into the goalie, I'm like, oh, well, guess what? They're taking it back, guaranteed. And guess what? They took it back. If someone gets pushed into Wedgwood, I'm like, oh, it's a good goal. No goal interference. And they'll give it. I don't know what the deal is. It drives me nuts. But on the Nate thing and on the Jack Drury issue, you can look at their skates. Look at their path of movement. They are going away from the crease. Yes, they're near the crease, but if no one was there, they would not touch the goalie. What happened? Both times, defensemen hit them into the goalie. That should automatically, if they're touched, that should automatically be like, that sucks that the goalie couldn't move. But guess what? Your guy did it, so therefore, good goal. And both times it's not. It makes no sense whatsoever. And like what Eric was saying, Doughty knows exactly,
of course,
what he's doing. These guys are smart.
And
he knows exactly what he's doing.
That's what angers me the most, because obviously I get goalie interference is to protect the goalie too. Like, yes, it's to like not impede him doing his job, but it's also to protect him. Yeah. But I think now it's starting to shift where defenders are, as we're seeing, weaponizing it to be like, oh, you hit my goalie. That has to be goalie interference. And they're the ones like pushing them in. And they're like, hey, buddy, I know you're on my team, but you're going to have to take this one for the team. Hey, and using the basketball reference, hey, I need you to take the charge, goalie. I'm going to push him into you. So this is goalie interference. And I think that's the problem. Like, I think some of the thing in uniformity has to address how the defenders are instigating that. Like, if they're in the space kind of helping defend it and, you know, with the block, like the lanes and things like that, I get that. But it's when the defender will like weaponize it,
Yeah.
like Dowdy, and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna bump him a little into you, so like be ready for this. I'm not gonna look, so I don't know if he's hitting you in a good spot, a bad spot, because I have to look like I'm not doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
But it's the
The easiest
weaponizing of
way to
it.
the easiest way to do it for the rule would be like if the defenseman initiates the contact into the goalie, it's a good goal for the offensive team. Like
Oh, I like that.
If Drury plowed into Doughty, like hit Doughty first and then fell in the goalie, I'm like, okay,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I
good.
like that. I love
But
that
because
idea.
the Nurse thing's even worse than the Doughty. Nate was flying across the top of the crease 2 feet away. Wasn't even gonna touch the goal. He was full freaking speed. And Nurse came in without even trying to stop at all. 1 foot down, one leg in the air like a deer, and nailed Nate. And then Nate plows in the goalie. It looks bad, but guess what? This is what you need to do. This is fix the rule. Easy. If the defenseman initiates the point of contact, it's a good goal for that offensive team. And then take away the defensive team. If there's no defenseman there, will the person who hit the goalie hit him without a player touching him?
Right.
If the answer is
Right.
no, good goal.
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then you can go, okay, he initiated.
I
Simple,
love this idea.
easy.
To be black and white, because I equate it to another sport. The pass interference in football in the NFL is
Yes.
totally
Yeah.
out of control. Nobody knows what's going on there ever. The officials don't know. There's no there. I guess they try to do black and white on that, but that's maybe more difficult to do black and white. Your solution is easy. Look to see who initiated it, and there you go. We need to call the NHL office and let them know that it's really.
I agree.
Yeah, since the players and coaches can't complain about the refs, this is our responsibility to complain for them.
Yes.
They have to be nice and clean and be like, well, they're doing their best, all this. We'll complain for you guys. Just send it our way and we can
we
can
got it.
address everything.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's got to be black and white, because if you leave it up to a gray area, then it's the refs, like how he's feeling tonight, or in Toronto who's making the call like, well, tonight I feel like I'm going to give it a goal, or tonight I'm going to take away the goal. You got to make it who's hitting who, and then take that away, and then like, will the player hit the goalie if no one was there? And if the answer is no, then it's a good goal.
Yep.
Or vice versa.
I love it. Good goal.
Yeah, drives me nuts. But enough about that. Move on to last night's game, since that's more fresh in our minds. We got the victory, thankfully. After we review it, kind of to mix it all in there, we'll talk about the power play issues too. But it was basically watching the same game again. I was hoping like, okay, my thinking was after game one, or my hope was game one, it's the first game, jitters, Kings mucked it up, Avs gonna come out flying, and they're gonna blow them out of the arena. And that did not happen. So yeah, what do you guys think?
like half the stuff I said about game one that I thought about game one could be applied to game two. Again, Wedgwood, incredible. The turning point of the game, the biggest play in game two for me was Wedgwood's save on the penalty shot. That was a hell of a move, and that's going to score most of the time. Wedgwood getting over there and snagging that, blocking it away, was astounding. And at that point, that kept it 0-0. And, Panarin scores after that, a little bit after that, not that long after that. Anyway,
felt like years that game.
It felt like years because we did have a bit of a glass intermission, didn't we? But that was the play of the game for me. And, I won't jump to one of our later topics, talk about who I think was the best player, but I don't know. I'm just so amazed and happy that we got that goal in overtime. The pass, it was from Natchez to Landy in regulation to tie it up. Pass, insane. The goal
It
was
was the best
easy
thing
tap
ever.
in.
And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure after Landy scored, he went in the corner to celebrate, and there was someone in the corner that looked quite familiar to this podcast. I could be wrong, maybe.
Yeah. You know, after he scored, he just had to come celebrate with me and tell me, hey, I did this for you. I did this for you. So, you know, we just had a little like powwow, you know, just encouraging the team and telling him to keep going.
Nice job, man.
Those few minutes of skating that we get in each game, or a few seconds even, we got a few seconds of Natchez to Landy, just the pure skill. And Landy sneaking down there to the goal mouth. Defender didn't know he was going there, looking at covering somebody else. That was amazing. And then Waz just scrappy goal in OT. Just
So good.
You know, just phenomenal. Just really, really gritty goal out of Wah. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts there. What about you guys, Eric?
I mean, jumping on to what you said with like Wah's gritty goal, like I remember when they traded for him, they gave like a first for him. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this is like a bottom or middle six guy. And I remember my initial thought was like, this feels like an overpay. And I know we're in like, you know, cup or bust, so you have to pay that tax. But I remember feeling that, and then kind of seeing him being with Vegas and those kind of things. I was like, oh, you're paying for, you know, a winning mentality and someone who knows what needs to happen in order to move farther in the playoffs. And that's what you got. Like seeing him get that point and how ready he was going with that, I was like, oh, this is what we needed. This was the depth scoring we needed to really push it forward. And that third line is becoming more and more valuable because Gabe's on that third line, Kadri's on that third line, and Nick Waugh. And Gabe gets the goal and Nick Waugh gets a goal. And what's really cool is with our dear old captain, he's just ready to jump around and jump on different lines and really add something, you know,
and literally jump around. I was watching a replay today or yesterday of him flying into the boards. And literally jumping well off the ice, and he looked like Superman there for a minute. And I'm like, this guy has no regard for his body anymore.
I love it. Well,
his legs,
and that's the best kind of player that you want right there.
When you're getting hit 50 times, you're like, you know what? I want to control what I'm hitting instead of someone else coming to hit me. But I think it's been really nice to see, even though Gabe is really a top 6 guy, any other team, like to see once again, like depth scoring when the top lines are kind of canceling each other out and having that, it was very encouraging in a game where it's like, okay, this is going to be a sloppy mess and you got to win off the boards. You got to do the dirty work to win. And that's how we pull it off. Like, it's pretty great. And I just won't talk about how that game felt like 70 years in the second period.
Yeah, that was, like I said, I was hoping they were going to come out flying and dominate, and the Kings got back to their game plan. The longer it stayed 0-0, the longer it stayed close. In my head, I'm like, this is not good. Because, as you know, with playoff hockey, all it takes is one little – it doesn't have to be a good goal. One little bounce, rebound from the net, it bounces off of someone's leg, and it's in the net, and it's 1-0, and you're like, oh, no, here we go.
Well, literally happened to Boston in the Sabres. Like that random, hey, let me just the casual flick it up and it gets by the Sabres goalie. Like something like that happens in our game. It flips it completely. Like how it is, you know, just adding to what you're saying, like crazy.
Yeah, that's why I always say power play, even strength, penalty, whatever. Shoot the puck on the net. Either all three of us could be in the zone and we're not NHL players, we just flick this limp noodle at the net. You don't know. It could bounce off at every person on the ice and go in the net. And like, look, Eric scored a goal in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Who cares? He scored. It doesn't. That's how it happens.
That's why I get to celebrate with them.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so the closer it's like that, the longer it goes. The Kings are loving it. They're keeping them in check. Forsberg's playing great. They're like, this is the game we want to play. And I was just waiting. It was like a bomb waiting to explode. That's what I was waiting for. Like it's gonna happen. Nate's gonna fly up the wing. Nate's just gonna come to the slot one time. They're gonna score. They're gonna get the momentum. Then Makar's gonna come down, and then the third line, and then boom, boom, boom. And I was just waiting for it to happen, and it was just like Eric was saying, it's just like so slow. It's like they're skating in like honey or something. Like they just can't get that next gear going. But the positive is we got the win, thankfully. But hopefully they can establish their game and bring it to them, because the Kings cannot keep up. That's why they're slowing it down. They cannot play that way. They can only play one way. And if the Avs can get that speed flying like the Cup run, like I remember the first round in 22, it was like watching the Olympics. They were so fast, and I was like, this is insane. And they have that. They're stuck in neutral, basically, is what's happening. They're just like got the clutch in. They're trying to shift, and they're just kind of rolling around, basically.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. We're gonna switch into gear at some point soon. But with these Kings, I don't know if they can continue to bring their style and impose their will. We'll have to win ugly, but I know we can do it.
Yes.
Well, I think like you said, Dave, like before we got on here, like the Kings, I would say game 2 really had the opportunity to play within their script to the fullest. I thought they played a great game for how they wanted to play.
Yeah.
The issue is they have no offense. They have no offense right now. Which
they have one offensive player and nobody else.
That they got like a month ago. They were like, hey, can we borrow that guy really quick? And he's
I don't know how they scored any goals before they got Panarin.
Yeah.
They did.
I think that's a testament to like what Gabe said in the interview, what they've like kind of all been saying, like, hey, you guys want to play this way? We'll play it. Like, we're not going to get frustrated. Like, I've seen Nate break a stick on the wall. I saw moments where he like had a pass and oh my gosh. Okay, Forsberg had a great game, but that red pipe had a great game too.
What was it? Was it like three or four last night?
3 or 4.
Yeah.
But I think before playoffs, I would have seen Nate break a stick.
Right.
Like in frustration. But I think he's even like, hey, we're playing a defensive game and we're going to do our thing. Like he had moments, but you could see him like check back in and he's like, this is the game we're playing. And I think it's really cool to see them have to play a different style right away in round 1, because we all know who's waiting for us in round 2. And either we have to exercise some demons with Dallas, or we're going to have to play Brock Faber and Quinn Hughes, who are playing fantastic, and another team that's not scared to hit and throw their body around, that they have some beefy, mean 4th line and 3rd line people. So I think it's good for them to have to work out some, hey, we're going to be a defensive team and we're going to win with 2 goals.
Yeah, I think it's going to serve them well as the playoffs go forward, because I mean, even Nate sort of smiled and chuckled and said he was having fun. This was fun hockey in an interview after the game. And Gabe is like, hey, we had no problem hitting these guys. And I love it. If they tried to play finesse and the Kings were imposing their will, hitting everybody, I think if the Avs were not hitting back as they are doing in games 1 and 2, that would probably have led to losing one of those games, I bet. So them just showing the Kings, you're not going to push us around, has been huge, and they're embracing it, which is cool.
Yep. And I agree with all that stuff. And there is one big point we're going to talk about that needs to be tweaked moving forward that could help in this series, and especially going forward if they want the cup. That power play needs to it doesn't have to be 80%. I mean, that's crazy. That's like Oilers crazy. But
Yeah.
give me 20%. Give me 1 out of 5.
Right?
Give me 1 out of 5. 20%. It's kind of like the same thing they said about the Senators. The Senators are a great team. If they get average goaltending, they're a top 5 team. If I told my wife last night watching the game, if the Avs were a top 10 power play, they would go 16-0 in the playoffs. They'd never lose. If they got 1 to 2 a game, they'd never lose.
Yeah.
So before I get into it, what do you guys see? What do you think needs to change? How do you feel about the lack of power play scoring we've dealt with the entire season, and now it's in the playoffs? Dave, I'll go with you.
The entire season minus a couple weeks after what we got Kadri.
Yeah.
Well, Kadri bump. Yep.
The Kadri bump and then bumped back down. I don't know. I mean, the experimentation with having Nate roam around more, I don't know that has helped that much. He's all over the place now. He used to sort of park in that left circle and fire off bombs. And in previous years, he scored a lot of them. He's scored some this year, but not that many. People are keying on that more. I'll be honest, a little unorthodox idea, and probably doesn't solve anything on its own, is mix up the players a little bit. Hey, let's try Nichushkin out there on the first power play. Let's get Lehkonen out there a little bit more. Kadri, there was the Kadri bump, but for me, I'm not loving the way it's looking with Kadri. I might try subbing somebody in for him, and also having Nate roam around a little bit less. I see him behind the net on the power play more than I would like. I don't know how he's going to score from back there. He's not going to. Now, I know Gretzky, obviously, that was his office in the days, and he scored thousands of goals, somehow scored from back there. I don't know. He was a magician, so we're not going to talk about that. But having Nate back there for me isn't where I want him. I want somebody else as a facilitator back there. Nate just is a great scorer, so I don't necessarily want him back there, but somebody else besides Nate. I like the idea of sort of working from behind the net, which we do sometimes with Nate, but not him. Okay, those are some of my ideas, and I can come back to more. But let's move on. Let's see what Eric has to say before we set up the big finish with Cam on how to fix the power play.
I think what I'm observing is it's almost kind of getting to a point where it's like Nate or bust on him doing something miraculous, and we don't have system or like structure in it. And I think what's making it hard for him is because him and Marty have to, like, they both are comfortable in that spot. I think he said somewhere, Jared said somewhere, that he sacrificed and he's kind of doing the McDavid Rover kind of move around, and doing that. But I think this is kind of where we're seeing the area of, like, I know it's a year and a half of like where we're missing Mikko. That other dot on the other side, where when it would get logjam, Nate would do some stuff and just tee him up for some one-timers.
Yes.
And there's just been multiple times where I've noticed, and I've like pointed out to my wife very annoyingly, where Kadri or whoever we would put on that other side is not a like, hey, set me up, I'm going to do a nasty one-timer. Like Kadri, he will hold it, reload, and then fire again. Where Nate is like, hey, we need quick execution on this. We're just not getting it. It's, oh, let me think about this and then find a spot to shoot it. Where Nate is hoping for, the ghost of Mikko Rantanen to pop out and just
Mhm.
tee it up and fire. And I don't think like we used to have that. And then Lekanen in the bumper, and
Yeah.
then we'd have Kale on the top, and then him when he would do it. So there were multiple spots where we could fire from and have a great shot. And now they're trying to diversify by having, Marty have a good shot, maybe Kale, and then I feel like the bumper spot, they haven't really found someone they really love there. And then
I
the
love
other
Lekanen,
side,
as you mentioned there.
yeah, I love him there. I love Gabe there when like Gabe or Nichushkin would just back into the goalie and say, I'm gonna just get in the way. Like that was great. But I think missing that extra shot has
Yeah.
made them a little more predictable. And Nate's trying to, put a cape on and pass around. And I think that's led to a lot of just turnovers and ugly in the process stuff. So, all right, Cam, we have complained. How do we fix this?
I agree with both of you guys. I was going to say, like Dave, I would like to see different people out there. What I would have it be would be Kale, Nate, Landy, and then Lekanen in the bumper spot. I'd like Nichushkin as the new Rantanen because he likes to shoot. He picks that far side really well. He will get it off quick. So if you have him on the other side, you have Lekanen in the slot ready for that. Have Landy work behind the net, go on either side, and then Kale up top. I like that line. That's what I would do. But and like what Eric was saying, it's predictable. The predictable in the zone, and then I absolutely hate their zone entry. It's terrible. I counted the last two games from when it gets dumped down on the penalty kill by the opposing team. From the time they go get it and actually cross the blue line, it's about 15 to 16 seconds. They lollygag down to get the puck. They skate up like, okay, take it in. And then they drop it back to Nate or Natchez. And it takes 5 seconds again. And
Sometimes
then
it's a double drop.
yeah, and sometimes it's double. I'm like, and they know they're going to do it. All you have to do to defend it, sit on the blue line, wait for the drop, and then whoever gets the drop, clog one side. My solution with different people too is to do like what football players, quarterbacks do. Do like the run pass option. That's what you have. When you're coming up, don't have the one guy sitting back waiting for it. Have Kale and Mac go not side by side, but go up. Have the guys kind of swinging, waiting, and then let's say Kale has the puck. He has two options. He either fakes like he's going to pass and takes it all the way into the zone. Don't dump it. Take it all the way in the zone. Break the blue line. Go down the corner and get ready to set up. Or fake like you're going to take it in. Pass to Nate at full speed. He takes it in. Whoever has it has to go deep in the zone. No dumping. No stop at the blue line. And they can just poke it out, get in the zone, and then set it up. And then like when the Oilers are so good, when you watch the Avs power play, all three of us could be out there and somebody else, maybe another fan off the street. All you have to do is shuffle 4 feet side to side, wave your stick, and you're good. Because they just stand there. Kale's at the top. He doesn't move. He passes to Nate. Nate's like, and then they try to force the bumper and they know it's coming. They got 2 guys that hit it away. They need to be like the same thing. Run pass options. They need to rotate. If Kale's coming towards Nate, Nate follows him, and then you have 2 options. Kale's either going to take it and cut the corner, or he's going to pass to Nate. And what does that do for the defender? He doesn't know what Kale's going to do. Is Kale going to blow down the wall? Is he going to pass it to Landy behind the net? Is he going to drop it to Nate? Now they're just like, oh, well, they're just going to pass. I'm just going to stand here, wave my wand, and I'll probably break it up, or they'll just get a horrible shot. Rotation. And if they get moving, then the defense has to start thinking, what are they need the D. Like Eric was saying, they're too predictable. The D needs to be like, I have no idea what the Avs are going to do. That's how you solve it. Is Nate going to come up to the top? Is Nate going to go behind the net? Is Landy going to send it to the bumper? Is Landy going to send it to the other side? Is Kale going to skate all the way around and drop it off? Like, it's so predictable. They need to move. They need to move. That's the biggest movement.
Yeah, you bring up some great points, all great points. Makes me realize it does seem like they're always looking to force it into the bumper spot. They're spending anytime they're set up, it does seem as though they're just trying to get it to the bumper. You can score any number of goals, any number of other ways besides getting into the bumper, and they're clogging up that middle. And also your comments about zone entry and time. I mean, those are great points. Forget about what you do when you're set up in the zone. It's all the time we're losing. Getting into the zone, 16 seconds is a lot. And then, like you say, the zone entry is just, I don't know where they came up with this. Other teams, I've seen it out of other teams as well. I don't know if everyone does it, but it seems kind of newish and newfangled. I definitely don't care for it. These drops and double drops.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and with you guys mentioning too different people on the power play, what you also need on the power play is when you get a shot on net or a rebound and it goes squirts to the corner, you need puck hounds to go get that puck. There should always be two guys on one puck, on one defender on the power play. You got one extra guy. You should never be, if it goes in the corner and Dowdy goes in and Nate goes in there, Landy should go too. There should be two guys. Nate pinches off the wall, Landy crushes Dowdy. They got to come up with the puck. Lehkonen and Nichushkin, puck hounds.
Yeah.
If Kale shoots from the top, Forsberg knocks it in the corner, they're going to go get that puck. There's too much like it goes in the corner. They hesitate. I don't know why. And then defender just goes, oh, out of the zone. There's kill more time. It'll take them 20 seconds to get back in. Like, it drives me nuts. Like, we're obviously complaining. They've won 2 games, but I mean, it's going to be a glaring issue when you play the Mini, the Dallas, the Vegas going forward, hopefully, that if you ain't scoring, and then they'll know. The defenders will be like, we took a penalty, and normally like, crap, we just gave them a goal.
No, they get
If I took a penalty, I would be like, we're good. They ain't going to score. Their power play
the other
sucks.
team is looking for shorties half the time, right?
Yes.
I feel like they're licking their chops and saying, okay, like, we got to keep an eye out, put a little more pressure, and see if we could get a shorthanded goal. And yeah, I think one thing like I've been seeing in game 1 and game 2 is even with our puck hounds, like the Kings do not mind going to the boards and fighting. And they're like, I think we can come out with it. So it amplifies on the power play where I think we get into hey, let's have a little more finesse than, some power or some oomph to it. And they're like, great, you guys do all your cutesy stuff on the power play. We're going to get it off the board when your first shot doesn't work. And we're going to go try and get it out of the zone and maybe get a shorty. Because I think that's a great point, Cam. Like, out of all of the guys on the power play right now, like, we don't have that mean person that's going to go get it off the board. I mean, Gabe, but sometimes you see it with Gabe, like, he just gets lost in the commotion. He's still great. He's still a great player, as we saw last night. But there's moments where you're like, oh no, Gabe, you're on the floor. What happened? Like, things like that. And it's like, we don't have that puck hound. Like Kadri, I think, loses a lot of battles on the board.
Yeah, he does.
Nate's just smart where he like is like, hey, I'm the engine on this. I can't be taking nasty stuff on the boards all the time, Yeah. And no. Kale, because of the power play, he can't be like getting in there all the time. He has to play it smart.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think Cam, you may have figured it out. I think we need a little more puck hounds and someone really to keep the cycle alive. Because I think that we'll have the one Marty shot, we'll have the one Kale shot, and it just goes all the way around the ring, and you're like, well, let's see when they get an entry again.
Eric, I think between the two of us, we've got this solved. We need a puck hound in the corner, and I could solve it by going back in time to the trade deadline, and the Avs mortgage the future even more and get Tom Wilson from the Caps and have him take the puck out of the corner.
Yeah, he'll go get it. He'll go get it. Yeah,
he'll get it and hurt someone.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
man, I wanted to get him so bad, but that was a pipe dream. He wasn't on the move.
Yeah, but to sum it all up, hopefully, I mean, there's always this thing of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. But it is broke, so you got to fix it. Hopefully, they adapt. Like, do something like they change up the lines all the time. Why not you change up the power? Put different guys out there, and they also have the thing too. Like, if it's Lekkinen and Etrushkin will play the first power play before, but if you can even put an O'Connor in there or somebody, you put new guys on, they're going to be hungry. Like, I'm on the first power play. I'm going to try extra hard to retrieve and get
I
in front of
love
the
that
net and
concept.
battle. Like, do something, change something.
Especially in game. Even if you don't think you're going to do it, you're not going to come out of the gates doing it. But if you're 0 for 5 or 0 for 4 on the power play,
what do you have to
know
lose?
what? Let's adapt. Bednar is incredible, but he is set in his ways very often on most things, and I'd be really surprised if he started to mix up the power play, but I would love it if he did.
Yeah.
The only thing that gives me hope in this is that Parker Kelly is playing on the second line. Like, in the
Yeah, that's
positive,
huge.
his traditionalist is, hey,
Yeah.
you got to earn the time. And I feel like we have enough hungry people in the middle six that would be like, hey, I'm not on PP1. I could go do that. Like, I can help fix that. I mean, even just very briefly when Marty was hurt, having Nick Waugh in the power play for a quick second. I'm like, can you do a nice little one-timer on the other side where Nate can pass it between some guy's legs? You know, the guy that's watching the weak side or backside, get it through him to get a one-timer. Because I feel like when they lost with Miko, this is now even farther back, like their power play was unstoppable for a while, but then people started figuring out the Miko thing, and it's like we need something. We need more people that are willing to shoot and shoot confidently and not say, you shoot it. No, you shoot it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you make such a great point that other circle across from where Nate used to be, parked all the time, where Rantanen used to park. If we can get Choo Choo or who knows anybody to just go over there and fire it, one time it when they get the puck, one time it immediately. Don't look, don't ask questions,
just shoot.
I think that's a great point that could make a huge difference. Like you say, back in the day, they caught on to what we're up to with Rantanen over there, but we're not up to that now, and that'd be a huge. I think that'd be huge for the power play.
For sure. So hopefully something changes, or if they don't change it, then at least move or get more shots and move it around and something. But
I'm just ready for playoff Kadri. I feel like if he gets
Yeah.
confident and we can trust him on that side, he did give us a bump. There's something there,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
I think once again he got hurt, and now we're having to like
Get him back in the
retime,
fight.
get the Kadri we like. Who knows what his fingers like even right now? I haven't really heard anything now that he's back in, but I wonder
Yeah,
how much that's hampering even how he's
probably
playing.
is hampering some. I bet.
He looks great on that third line, and maybe like having Gabe there is a little bit of security for whatever, but I trust him. I just am like, hey man, just fire. Don't think about it. Like all the
Fire
pretty
away.
work was done to get the puck to you, most likely. So we don't need another beautiful pass from you. Like Nate most likely did all the work to get it to you. So just fire it. Like
Yeah.
good. That's why we got you.
And you can't score if you don't shoot the puck.
Come
So,
on.
It's the
Abraham
truth.
Lincoln.
it's easy.
Like-
Come on.
Wayne Gretzky, Abraham
Yeah.
Lincoln, Michael Scott
Yeah,
said
exactly.
something like that.
So I have an idea already. We'll kind of go through what we all think of who's been the Avs' best player so far through 2 games. We'll just keep the rotation. Dave, what do
All
you
right.
got? Who do you got?
So we're running towards the end of our hour, but we'll go over a few minutes, and we'll wrap things up with a little commentary on Avs' best player, and then talk for a few minutes about Game 3 preview. So stick with us, those folks out in TV land, and by the way, feel free to leave comments for us. We'll take a peek at those and try to address those as well. But it's easy for me. It's Wedgwood is the best player, and I was thinking about this earlier, and I was trying to come up with who I thought was the best skater, non-goalie, so far. And I'm not sure who it is. I mean, Nate had some moments of brilliance, I thought, in game one, especially. And I'm not sure who it would be, and it doesn't matter. Wedgwood's saving our bacon. Both goalies are incredible. If either goalie let off and wasn't playing incredible, their team would be losing this series. In the Kings' case, even more so than they are. I mean, they're hanging in there 2-1, 2-1, which is astounding. But yeah, what can I say? Wedgwood's save on the penalty shot and some of his other just astounding saves, just pushing from one side of the crease to the other. There's not a lot more to say. I think everyone that's an Avs fan has seen it in action. There's been no bad goals, and so that's me.
Eric, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I agree with Dave. I think Wedgie's been our guy. I didn't know. I thought we were an Avs podcast. We're a Wedgwood podcast. I think
eyes on Wedgwood.
Eyes on Wedgwood. That's who we care about.
And I love that for him because he's such a great dude.
Yes, he's amazing. I'm so happy we have him. I think one person, maybe not the best player, but someone I'm like really happy with, is Marty. I think so many times, if it wasn't about our goalies, it was always, hey, can Marty replicate what he's doing in the playoffs where he can't be finesse? He has to be a little more tough. And it's so funny, like, especially with this Kings series, I feel like we have been such a finesse team. And when we get logjam, like, that's where we struggle. And I feel like we're trying to play more tough with Marty rather than the Moose. Like, we had big old Mikko Rantanen, and we're like, let's play a finesse game. And now we have like skinny Marty Natchez, where I remember at the beginning of the season, like the camp videos, people were making fun of him that he wasn't lifting weights. Like, he was like, oh, I'm fine. Like,
I'm fine.
Like, him like making jokes and them doing that. So I think even him just taking that nasty hit and like still sticking it in there, still fighting. Like, he doesn't do much. Like, he's not a big hitter, but I'll see him like go hit people and like throw his body into it. They're not moving a ton, but I think him just having the mentality of like, I'm going to be in there. I'm going to get nasty with the rest of these guys, or him like smacking shins with his stick and saying like, I want all the heat. Like, and him even getting that assist. That was a beautiful assist to Landy. So I don't like, you know what? He's the best player that I've been seeing on the ice. I'm going to be confident in my choice. That. Like, I'm really happy with how he's playing in his mentality, and it's a slow game. He's one of the fastest skaters. He's so fast, and him not really getting to use his strengths, but still being effective and doing stuff. Like, I'm so happy with it.
Love it. Yep. I'm agree with all you guys say. I'm with Dave. I'll give a couple options, but yeah, Wedgie obviously overall has been the best player. Like, without him, who knows what would happen, you know? And like you guys said, he's such a good guy. It makes it even better. And I'm assuming this, but we've known his journey of journeyman coming up through the pro ranks, ECHL, AHL, backup, different teams. And I would assume it'd be this way, but he's probably looking at this is like bonus. Like, the struggle he's had for the last, I think he got drafted in 2010, so 16 years ago, of all the work, all the sacrifice, all the bump back down, backup goalie, traded, different team. Like, he's the starter for the best team in the NHL in the freaking Stanley Cup playoffs for a team that should win the cup. He's probably like, holy crap, man. He's so happy. He's always in a good mood. He probably goes home. He's like, honey, I'm the starting goalie for the Avalanche and we're in the playoffs. He's like, whoa, yeah, this is cool. Like, you can see he's relaxed. He loves it in Denver. He's playing amazing, and he's just like, you know what? I've been through way tougher times than this. I'm just gonna play, and you're seeing it, and I love it. And then another guy I see, I agree with Eric's take on Marty. It's awesome to see that. But a guy I've really liked is Manson, which he's a playoff dude. I loved him in our cup run, and last night. He had a couple times he went on the wall and pinched. He took it to the net. I thought he was going to score. He was heading straight for the net, but I love him. I call him the new age Adam Foote because he's not going to score a ton of goals, but he will kill you in the corner. He will blow you up in the ice, but every once in a while he'll do some crazy shit at the blue line where he goes right at the net, and I'm like, oh god, like. And then he'll fight people. He will destroy you. And I think it was last night. I can't remember who it was on the key. It might have been Joseph. They were barking. He was just smiling. The commentators like, "Oh, you don't want any of that.
No,
you might
not
want to
at
just
all.
back away." You just back away from Manson. So I love to see it. That's you need the playoffs,
I
the
love that.
nastiness. He punishes people, and I love both those guys. So
Yes,
Yeah.
my favorite thing about the Manson Burnsy pairing is more than anyone. I feel like they do the best of the minute the puck touches their stick, they will always throw it at net. Like
Yes.
if it's getting blocked or whatever, maybe even to their detriment when it like fires back right behind them and they have to recover. But I'm always just so happy when Manson and Burnsy, like you see them cycling, and I just know it's going to get to their stick and they're going to try and throw it on net. And we just need
I
more of
love
it.
that. And I
Yes.
thought Malinsky was doing that for a lot of the season, and he's backed off that a tiny bit. I feel like recently, I'd like to get him. I'd like to get back to seeing Malinsky do more of the same of what you're talking about there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I love
But
it.
Great take with Manson.
Yeah, and I love exactly everything you guys said, and we've gone a little bit longer this time, but we'll finish it up with a few minutes of we got Game 3 in LA. They're obviously going to be pumped up. They're down 2-0, so not as pumped up if they stole the game, but they're going to be at the home crowd. It's going to be a tough game. It's probably going to be the toughest game of the series so far because now you're on the road. But Dave, what do you think is going to happen? What do you want to see happen?
Yeah. I think if the Kings can win a game in this series and make it 4-1, which is sort of what I predicted, I think it's going to be Game 3. I don't know. I sort of want to back off my 4-1 prediction and say it's going to be a sweep because I feel like I hope and feel like the Avs can play more of their skating, passing, shooting, scoring game, getting out to LA, and I think we're going to see it in Game 3 or 4. I think if we're able to see it in Game 3 and handle that game, then I think the Kings are going to be done for the series. Alternatively, can the Kings impose their will? They've played their 2 perfect games in my mind already. I don't see how they can do it 3 times in a row against the Avalanche, the best team in the league the entire season, the President's Trophy winner. I don't see how they can bottle us up for 3 games in a row. So I'm just going to go with a prediction that the Avs come out, skate, play their game, get a power play goal. I'm going to say we're going to get a power play goal. And I am going to say we win 3-1 in Game 3. That's my prediction.
Nice. Eric?
Yeah, I just my big hope and prayer is that the Avs get out of this series as quick as possible. Like just for how much we're hitting and just for how much I'm seeing everyone else is like we're going to fight, we're going to do all the things, and just seeing immediately with like Dallas, Minnesota, how losing one player just kind of threw them through a loop and gave life to another team. I'm hoping that they handle their business in Game 3. I think if the Kings win in game 3, I think that gives them enough life. They're still lose the series, but enough life to stretch it out to game 6. I think if they lose this one, I don't think it goes past 5. So my hope is that they lose this one. I think they'll lose it, but I think this will be their toughest. I think this will be the game that the Kings will bring their best foot forward, all that they can bring. This will be their best game. So I didn't really answer. Avs are winning.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I love those takes. I agree with it. I'm with Eric. I hope to see the real Avs, and Dave hopes that too.
And I predict it.
Yeah, and he
Yeah, you
predicted.
did. Yeah, you did.
I agree. I think the Avs are going to score 3 or more goals. It could be 4, it could be 5. I just have a feeling that after these 2 games, there's less pressure on the road. People always say like you got the home crowd, which it pumps you up, but you're staying home with your family. You got people wanting tickets. Like the road's a little bit, I wouldn't say more relaxing, but less stressful maybe. You're at the hotel with the boys. You're just going about your thing. I think they're gonna be revved up. I think they know that the Kings are gonna come out. It's do or die basically, because it's either gonna be 2-1 or 3-0 in the series, and that's a big difference. And the Avs don't want to give them any life, because like what Eric said, if you win 1 game, then like we got 1, why not 2? They could make it a series. If you come in and win game 3 and it's 3-0, I think they're done.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say the Avs are gonna win 4-2. They're gonna score a power play goal. Wedgie's gonna be outstanding, and I'm thinking some of the big guns, Marty, Nate, Kale are gonna have. We're gonna be here next week and be like, did you see what they did? Like that crazy shit. And there's gonna be some highlights, and the pounding's gonna continue. But I'm gonna say 4-2 Avs win, and then it should be done like dinner in a couple days after that, hopefully. So that's what I got.
Beautiful.
I like it.
Yeah. You guys got anything else before we end the show?
Hey, just really appreciate everybody joining, watching the live stream. Those that are watching on replay, thank you for coming in. Think about joining us live, and jump in on those comments, and you can interact with us during the show as well. So that's it from me.
Yep. Great show again, guys. If you are listening or following along, we got Eyes on Avs Instagram posted on there, Eyes on Avs threads. Of course, our YouTube channel. Follow along. We want to hear from you. And Eric, do you have any last remarks to finish it out?
Go Avs.
Go Avs. Nice. Go Avs. Dave, we'll let you. We'll keep the tradition. You can end the stream, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you, guys.
Go Avs.
Go Avs.
Go Avs.